Yes, so welcome. This is general orientation for fall and summer exchange and affiliate programs. And if you don't know what exchange or affiliate means right now, that's okay. By the end of this, you will have a good sense of why we are here today and what we are hoping to accomplish. Orientation is a process, and so before we dive into credit, I just want to give you a brief overview of the entire process. So if you've been on our website to find the date and location of this meeting, you will probably have noticed that you have another meeting, which is a site and program specific meeting. For example, if I'm going to Sorrento, I'm going to have another meeting with all the other Santa Ana Institute students that is separate from this meeting. So this meeting is purposefully general. We know we are not going to delve into specifics. We're going to keep it really general. But what's great about that is your program advisor does not have to cover this material with you when you meet for that second occasion, okay? In addition to that, we know our partners are going to inundate you with information, handbooks, orientation manuals, packing lists. We know it's a lot, but we need you to kind of stay engaged and make sure that you're paying attention to when our partners invite you to an online meeting. It's pretty important that you take the time to respond to those and attend those as much as humanly possible. Last but not least, we want you to attend what we call a preparatory forum. These are thematic, and you just have to pick one. Find one that works in your schedule, put it in your calendar, and attend one preparatory forum. We do not have those dates up yet, but we will have them up by the end of spring break for you to check out. Also, we have our global ambassadors. Is there a global ambassador here by chance? Okay. Global ambassadors are students who've already done Study Abroad or Study USA, and they're here to help you through this process. So don't forget you have that resource in addition to all your other resources. Okay, here's our agenda, and I'm going to let you know exactly where we are, how much time we have left, so that you can keep pace here. All right. The asterisks kind of reflect where I'm going to take attendance. So there will be a sign-out sheet. If you didn't hear me say that at the beginning, don't leave here without signing out, because you won't get credit for your attendance today. All right? Okay, with that, I'm going to turn it over to our Associate Registrar, Robin Straka.
Did everyone get one of the worksheets? Okay, great. Hi, so I'm the person that you've emailed or have been emailing about your course review form. So I know we're coming into what is basically the middle or towards the end of a conversation that we've been having via email, but we just wanted to review the process for you, hopefully give you that overview so you understand why we're doing what we're doing and what the expectations are of what we need from you in order for my office, the registrar's office, to give you back the information that you need. So I want to thank everybody who sent in their form so far. I have about 50 sitting in my in-basket right now that are probably additional choices or maybe the first submittals, but we work through them as fast as we can. But you're getting the answers back from us early in the process, so you've got time to ask folks questions, and we are turning them around as fast as we can. So the study and study abroad. Let's see if this is gonna. So we're just going to talk about your role in the what we call the course review process, and the Elon's role in that process back to you, and the resources you have for finding your information. But the first question you're probably asking is, why do I have to submit another form for study abroad? I'm already submitting all kinds of applications, all kinds of forms, all kinds of information to Elon and to the host program. This is yet one more that I have to submit. And the answer is, we want you to know how the courses you're going to take abroad will transfer back to Elon before you take them, to help you with your overall planning for graduation, because we want you to graduate on time. So this is all about giving you enough information to help you make your course selection choices while you're abroad. So your role as a student in this is to know the same thing that you know every semester when you go to register for classes at Elon. You need to know exactly where you are in your overall academic plan for Elon. I feel like I'm blocking the screens for the folks over here. What you're planning on working on as far as academic requirements the semester you're abroad, what the host program is offering, which would be the equivalent of Elon's schedule of courses, how the courses are going to count, and submit the form to us so we can answer all those questions for you. And then the one final step for some of you would be to get department chair approval if our office tells you that you need that. And then our role in this conversation is to tell you two big pieces of information. The first is, how is the course that I'm taking abroad going to transfer to Elon? In other words, how is it going to be listed on my transcript? That's one piece of information. A separate but related piece of information is, does that course fit the requirement I'm hoping to satisfy? So we're providing those two answers back to you. So for every course you're submitting to us, there's two pieces of information we ask from you, and we give you two pieces of information back. And then finally, just a reminder that what you're doing with us is to get pre-approval for kind of your shopping cart or list of courses you're hoping to take abroad. It is not your registration for classes at the host program. So you're going to handle registration separately with the host program at some point down the road. This is to give you a list of choices to go into that registration process with, okay? So on the worksheet that I gave you, and again, most of you are far along in this process already, and that's great. But that worksheet is just some questions to kind of guide your decision process when it comes to course selection. And I would call your attention to the first item and the last item on the worksheet. Because the first question is knowing exactly where you are with Elon. And that's a simple statement, but it encompasses a lot of information. You need to know where you are in terms of progress for your major, your minors, the core curriculum. You need to know if you have flexibility in what you can take the semester you're abroad. So in other words, if you were really planning on completing your core literature requirement the semester you're abroad, then you need to think about some what-if scenarios. And what happens if I don't take literature while I'm abroad? Can I fit it in when I come back? Do I have room to take what we would call a free elective? And that is a course that you're not using towards your major or minors or towards core curriculum. It's hours towards graduation, but it's not checking off any other box in your degree audit. That's a free elective. So you need to know, do I have room for any of those this semester I'm abroad? Because that affects your course selection. And then I mentioned the alternate scenarios. You need to think through what would happen if you don't get your first course choice. And by that I mean not that, okay, I want to take Marketing 311A, and if that doesn't work out, I'm going to take Marketing 311B. That's not what we're talking about. It's, I'm going to work on literature when I'm abroad. What happens if I can't take a literature course for some reason? What happens if that doesn't work out? Can I fit literature in when I come back to Elon and take something else in its place while I'm abroad? So you want to be thinking about those what-if scenarios while you're here on campus, and can talk to your advisor, can work with the staff in the Academic Advising Center, can work with the rest of us here on campus to answer your questions. Just so you know what you would do if that would happen, because registration will be different from what you're used to at Elon. So you have resources to help you. And I'm just going to turn a page myself here. So on the Elon side, it's the same resources you work with all the time for your registration planning: your degree audit, the academic catalog, your academic advisor, and then also the staff at the Academic Advising Center is always available to help you think through those what-if scenarios, or maybe you're trying to decide whether you can add a minor or add a major with your study abroad. The staff in the Academic Support Center can help you think that through and plan through that if you're not sure if that would all fit in. But I listed the academic catalog first on this list, and for a very specific reason. The degree audit is a tool, is a resource that you have to track your progress towards graduation. But the source of all the definitions, all the requirements, all the rules about all your majors, minors, core curriculum is the academic catalog. So the degree audit is not going to have all the details about what is and is not possible for a major or a minor. It may not have the complete explanation of all the categories. That's going to be in the academic catalog. So if you're wondering if you can work on advanced studies while you're abroad and you're not sure what subjects count in advanced studies, the academic catalog is your resource to find that answer. So they're all online. There's 12 or 14 years worth of academic catalogs online, so you can look that information up at any time. The degree audit is taking the information from the academic catalog and putting it into that checklist progress list that you have, but it's pulling information from the catalog. So the catalog is always the source of all your information for academic requirements and questions. So, and then the other important resource that you have, and if you haven't found it yet, you need to know where to find it, and that is the list of courses or the offerings at your host program. Again, that's host program information. That's not Elon information. So you need to know where to find it on the host program website, how they present that information, what language they use to talk about course offerings. And why am I saying that? If anybody here is studying in a program in the United Kingdom at institutions like St. Andrews or Sussex or University College Dublin, you might have seen language that talks about modules, not courses. Or when you clicked on a link for courses, it took you to the list of the requirements for the BA major in history. And that's because jargon can be different in different countries, or how they translate language into English if English is not the first language for the institution might be different. So you need to know how the host program talks about their academic information. You need to know if your host program has a required course. If you're going on semester at sea, there's a required course. If you're going to FIE in any of our programs in Dublin have a required course. So regardless of what else you were planning on taking, you've got to take that required course. So you've got to allow for that in your planning. If you're going to any of the programs in CIE programs that we affiliate with in Spain, there's probably a required Spanish course that you have to take, even if you've already met the world language proficiency for Elon. So you need to know that so you can plan for that as part of your course selection. The other thing is the nature of the academic information, the course information you're seeing, especially right now for fall, might not be the final list of courses. It might be a tentative list. It might be a sample list. These are courses that have been offered typically in the past. It might be the final one, depending on your program. Or it might be partial. It might not be finished yet. So you need to know what you're looking at. So you know that you might have to go back later and pick more choices when the host program finalizes their list of selections. So I just want to present that to you. Know where to find the information on the host program website and know the nature of the information that you're looking at. That's going to be key. So I talked about the nature of the information and required courses. So these are some statements that I've just pulled from some of our affiliate partners from their websites. It's talking about the required courses that they have. So semester at sea, the courses, the programs in Ireland and programs in Spain. So this is language lifted right from the host program website. How they list it, where they list it is different with every program. You just need to know where to find it. Your global education center advisor for your program, if you're having troubles navigating the website, they can help you because they know it very well also. So, and then the other thing that the host program will tell you, as I said, is the nature of the information that you're looking at. So the top statement is from one of the programs in Spain, and it's telling you that the program is preliminary or tentative and that it is subject to change. Anybody who's going to Argentina with the CIE program, they don't find out until they get there what's being offered. So what they're seeing on the website is very tentative right now, or representative. So you just need to know that. So these are just some links to the resources back at Elon. So this will be in the presentation for you, so you can go out and copy these if you need to. The link directly to the core curriculum requirements in the current catalog, the link to the major and minor section in the current catalog, and then the link on the bottom is a link to a database that we have running out of the registrar's office. It's a we call it transfer articulation. It's a table of transfer courses that we have posted for students in the past from programs all over the world, including domestic transfer credit and study abroad credit. So you can get a sense of how courses have transferred from your program in the past, depending on which program it is. For some of them, we have a lot of history, and for some of them that we don't send as many students, we don't have quite as much history. So it's a starting point or a reference tool for you as you're looking through the course schedule. You can see, they've offered this course before and it's transferred as course X back to Elon. Or this is a program that we haven't had much traffic with. But again, it's history, and it's not the comprehensive list of every course from every program. So that's why we have you submit the choices to us to review for you. But I just want you to know it's out there as a resource. So when you submit the course review form to our office, we're looking at it based on the information that you're giving us, because you're not right in front of me to ask you questions like, did you mean to use that in your major, or were you going to use that in your minor? All I know is what you've given me on the course review form. So we're reviewing the information based on exactly what you've told us. And that goes for every course that you're taking abroad, including internships. And I'm going to talk about internships a little bit more here. If your program offers an internship and you're going to take the internship abroad, we're not going to assume anything when you submit the form. You need to tell us where in your program you want to use the internship. So, because you might have more than one major, you might have several minors. We're not going to assume that you're going to use that course in your major. You have to tell us, I want to use this in my comm major. I want to use this internship in my history minor, because depending on what part of your program you wish to use the course will drive what kind of a department chair approval you might have to get for that course. So for internships, we're not assuming anything. If you don't tell us where you want to use it, if you just list the internship with nothing as far as the category you want to use it in, we're going to tell you that's going to transfer as COE 381. Which is the internships run out of the Student Professional Development Center. So that's a generic internship. You can always come back and say, I meant to say I was going to use that in my major, or my business major, or my ESS minor, or what have you. You can always clarify that. But if you don't give us that information, we're not going to make any presumptions on your behalf. Okay? So again, you need to tell us exactly what you're hoping to do with each course. So again, most of you, I think all of you have submitted at least one of these. So this is just representative information from what students have sent us in the past. The two columns on the left are what you're submitting to me and to my colleague, Alexander Taylor, to tell us the exact course at the host program. Because again, the programs that differ widely, some of them don't use course numbers. Some of them use numbers and titles. Some of them use a very different course numbering system from what you're used to at Elon. But we need the complete course number if they use one at the host program, and then also the full course title. So if you list just the course number, that gives us pause, because, as I just paused here, because at some programs, they have very similar course numbers for a range of courses, and it's easy to be off one digit when you submit a course. At some programs, they have courses, multiple courses with the same title at different levels in their curriculum. So we're asking for full information, numbers and titles from the host program. And then the second column is where you're telling me what Elon requirement you're hoping to satisfy. So we're not asking, I think this course is going to transfer as History 111. You don't have to worry about that. What I need you to tell me is, I want to take this course to satisfy principles of management in my marketing major. I want to take this course to satisfy advanced studies outside my major. So again, as specific as you can be, because that's the information we need to give answers back to you. And then the 4 columns on the right are the information we're sending back to you. The first 2 columns are the answer to the first question that I'm giving you. How is this course going to be listed on your Elon transcript? So subject and course number and credit hours. When you see course numbers with an XX, like 3XX and 4XX that are listed here, that means that course does not match exactly a course that Elon teaches, but it will transfer as an elective in that subject. So that means elective in that subject. And then the last 2 columns are the answer to the second question: does this course fit the requirement you asked for? So it could be the credits will transfer, but they don't meet the requirement you are trying to satisfy. And that's individual with each and every one of you. So we're asking for that information to be able to give you good answers so you can plan your course registration with the host program. Okay. So this is just a blow up of the statement. If you need department chair approval, we're going to tell you that you need that, and we're going to give you the information who the department chair is that you need to contact. But then it's up to you to decide whether you want to pursue that or not. We have to follow the rules that are defined in the academic catalog. Again, it all comes back to the academic catalog. We have to follow the rules and requirements as they're defined in the catalog. And if something doesn't meet that exactly and you're hoping to pursue it in that category, we have to refer you to the chair of the department, because it's the chairs who can make those decisions, not the registrar's office. So know what you need to take exactly. Know where you have flexibility. Think about those what-if scenarios. Think about how you might have to change things around or could change things around. And there's a lot of reasons why you might change your course registration, even if you get all your first choices initially from the host program. But if you have an internship placement, you might find that there's a schedule conflict with one of your first choice courses in the internship, and you have to make a choice there. Some of your programs are going to list the names of the courses that they're offering, but you're not going to have the meeting times until you get to the host country, and that's when you find out you have a schedule conflict. Something might be, same as Elon, something might be canceled, something might be added that you didn't know was going to be there, and you're interested in taking that. So for all of those reasons, or just during drop ad, you decide you'd rather take something else rather than a course that was your first choice for whatever reason. For all those reasons, think about the what-if scenarios. How can I swap things around and still graduate on time? Where do I have flexibility? Where do I have absolutes? Have all those answers going into drop ad at the host program, and then you'll be ready to deal with what might come up during that process, because you'll have plenty to do with getting settled at your host program with everything else, getting used to a new city, a new institution, a new way of doing things academically. And you can submit more choices to our office as much as you want. You can just go out and grab another blank form and send them in. We're happy to review as many choices as you want to submit. And we can continue that process all through the drop ad period at your host program. Okay. So, do you want to take questions at this? Okay. Do you have any questions? I know this is kind of dry, but it's really important, because when you come up for graduation audit, we want all these pieces to fall right into place to meet your degree requirements. So.
All right, so thank you, Robin. How many students do you guess, if we were to put all the students in a bucket who study abroad in summer and fall and do Study USA, what number do you think that is altogether? Oh, yeah, okay, you know our percentage, but how many students is that? How many students will go abroad this summer, this fall, or do a Study USA this summer and this fall? Put them all together. Yeah, good guess. 500 is close. It's about 600. Guess how many emails Robin Straka gets from you guys? 700, 800, 900, because I bet how many people in this room have emailed Robin Straka more than once? Okay. Or maybe you've been corresponding with Alexander Taylor out of the registrar's office. So I just want to emphasize that it's only through their hard work and attention to these course review forms that allows you guys to do what you do abroad. So if you wouldn't mind, can we give Robin a round of applause? Yeah, great. All right. It just wouldn't work. It wouldn't work if we didn't have the support of the registrar's office, the wonderful articulation table. If you think about it, everyone at Elon, our goal for you is to graduate. And to graduate on time, and study abroad does not need to be an impediment to graduating on time. It just takes planning. How many people in this room are going to be of junior standing as of fall? Yeah. So this gets more and more important. I'm about to talk to you about registration, and I understand that there's already a lot of pressure at registration time to get the classes you want, right? And this is, I hate to say this, but it's only going to increase because you only have so many more semesters, right, at Elon before graduation. So I do want to chat with you today about registration, and I am going to talk with you a little bit about policies, and I'm going to have you stand up in a minute, so just get loose and get ready to stand up with me. We're going to wake ourselves up as well and get our blood circulating. So registration, first of all, for summer or fall, you don't need to register yourself. The GEC is going to put you in that placeholder. So this is going to be a really easy registration cycle if you're thinking about this summer or this fall. What I want to talk to you now about is while you're abroad. And I have to admit, I'm mainly talking to the fall students in the room. I'm not so much talking to the summer folks because obviously you guys are going to be back from your summer programs by this point. So what I want you to know is that we already know the date. We know when registration is going to open for winter 2019 and spring 2019. It is November 8th. So this is a save the date. You can put that in your calendar right now. November 8th, 2018 is maybe a bad time to go camping in the outback or go skiing in the Alps. Because if you're far away from internet, from reliable internet coverage, you're not going to be able to register yourself. And that's going to be a drag. So this is my notice to you to note this time. Of course, this is the opening of registration, and we know how that works. Those with the most hours get in first on down the line. So you may not be registering on Thursday, but chances are you're going to be registering that weekend. So I do have two pieces of good news, one of which is for the semester at C. Students in the room, who's doing semester at C? Okay. So you're at sea and you don't have reliable internet. So the GEC is going to assist you. So we're going to email you individually and say, let us help you register. Okay. I have good news also for the rest of you. If you are taking a prerequisite abroad, if you're taking principles of marketing in Dublin and you intend to take a course that follows, is a subsequent course in winter or spring, I will be able to assist you in the sense that I will be able to tell OnTrack by clicking a switch that you are taking the prerequisite while abroad. And then you can register yourself for that following course, okay? Is that making sense? So about 3 weeks before this day, I'm going to email you. So this is my reminder to all of you that you need to check your Elon email address while you're abroad. I recommend at least twice a week. You got to keep connected to Elon. You're just going to miss too many important things if you're not checking email, notably my message to you around registration. What can I add to that? So are there any questions? A common question I get is, well, I'm in China and the time difference is just wacky. Won't the registrar's office adjust my registration time? No. we do not adjust registration times for time difference. So if it means getting up at 2 in the morning, that's a day that you set your alarm and you wake up and you get on track and you register yourself. If that's a day that mom and dad are visiting, you're going to have to say, hey, mom and dad, I got to go get on the computer and register myself. So I hope that makes sense. Are there any questions about registration? Great. Okay, so this next part is, I have to admit, a quasi-oath. I'm going to just kind of tongue-in-cheek ask you to take an oath with me. And so what I would like for you to do, and if we all stand up, it can kind of cause a ruckus and you can start talking to your neighbor. So maybe kind of hold back from that temptation. But let's go ahead and have everybody stand up. You do need to be able to see the screen, so hopefully you can see the screen still. I want you to repeat after me. So I'm going to say the first phrase. I like to raise my right hand. You don't have to do that, but just for fun, I'm going to raise my right hand. So please repeat after me. I cannot take a class abroad on a pass-fail basis. I cannot take a class abroad on a pass-fail basis. You guys are amazing. Okay, this is a long sentence, but we can totally do this. Courses and grades for my term abroad will be posted to my Elon transcript and factored into my GPA. Courses and grades for my term abroad will be posted to my Elon transcript and factored into my GPA. Oh my gosh, you guys are amazing. The last one, you get to do air quotes. Come on, let's have fun. We're stuck here for 2 hours. Let's just have fun with this. I cannot choose to exclude a course from my Elon transcript even if I don't need it to graduate. I cannot choose to exclude a course from my Elon transcript even if I don't need it to graduate. All right, thank you. Have a seat. You guys are amazing. Okay, so I have a couple items to add to the grades and academic policies and registration portion today, and then we're going to move right on to the next topic of orientation, which is roles. What I do want you to understand is that you all are subject to the grading policies of the program you're in. And grades around the world are different. Some of you are going to go into a situation where grades are numerical. My favorite is Australia. In Australia, the highest grade is called high distinction. And the next highest grade is distinction. So you're not competing for A's and B's and C's. So every one of you have the opportunity at your next site-specific, program-specific orientation to learn about that. And if your program manager doesn't bring it up, raise your hand and ask to talk about grade conversion. Some of you are lucky. Some of you it's rather similar. Some of you it's quite different. And I'll even tell you that, who's going to Dublin? Where are my Dublin people? So we have Trinity, we have University College Dublin, we have DBS. Even they have different grade scales within that institution. So if you're talking to your friend at Trinity and they tell you that a certain grade equals an A at Elon, that might not be true for you if you're over at University College Dublin. So believe it or not, it changes, it varies that much. Another question I get a lot is someone will email me and say, hey, all of the Vanderbilt students here, their grades don't count. They're just going pass-fail. And what's the deal, Elon? Can I do pass-fail? What I'm going to say is, if you want to remain at Elon, you are an Elon student, and we don't allow pass-fail. So I want you to stay at Elon, but if you want to transfer over to Vanderbilt, so you can do pass-fail, that's wonderful. But as long as you're at Elon, that's just simply not an option. The last thing I'll mention, I think, is maybe the biggest hiccup that students might encounter. You really need to understand add drop in the country you're in. I'll give you an example. So one time a student called me and said, hey, Rhonda, I'm about to finish up at Sunshine Coast. You know what? I took a yoga class, and then I sort of like stopped going to yoga class. You won't believe this, Rhonda, but I have an F. I have an F for yoga. and they're going to say, hey, can you just like not notice that F? Can you just kind of like ignore that F on my transcript? The answer is no. If that grade appears on your transcript, it goes over to the registrar's office and they're posting it along with all your other credit. So the slip up there is to not understand how to drop a class formally. So don't get caught up in that mess. Make sure you understand how to add and drop formally. Elon is kind of a mid-sized institution. Some of you guys are going to a really large institution, very old institutions. They do things really differently. So don't make assumptions. Ask, ask, ask until you understand what the formal procedures are. Lastly, I'll say that transcripts from abroad are sometimes really slow. Who's going to Spain? I'm sorry to tell you guys, the Spanish universities are sometimes the last ones to send us transcripts. So think about that now and let us know if you foresee something that you would like for us to address. There's not much we can do, but we can certainly try to expedite transcripts. But it is just a reality of study abroad. And so just be aware that there will be a delay from when you finish exams, and you're going to know your grades, but Elon won't know your grades. And this isn't real until a transcript follows you home. That's when it all becomes real. All the grades go into your record, okay? All right. Okay, so who's here? We have so many partners around the world. They actually don't fit on one slide, so I'm going to show you 2 slides. What I'd like for you to do, this is a little bit of a logo recognition test, to be honest with you. What I want you to see is look up at the board and see if you can identify your program. So there's 2 slides, right? So who can see their program right now? All right, my Theatre Academy London, people. Okay, cool. Okay. Slide number 2. Okay. All right. Anybody missing? I might have missed a logo. Can somebody shout out something I'm missing? Did everybody see their program? I might be missing one. No? Okay. So it's important to understand that sometimes a student will walk up to me and be like, hey, Rhonda, I'm not going abroad through Elon. I'm going on the semester at sea program. And I usually say, ho, wait a minute. That is an Elon program. If you're here right now, you are participating in an Elon-approved program. We're really selective about who we work with in the world. There's lots of programs, and we really are very careful to select what we think are a really good match for you in terms of curricular matches, and just level of service, and having housing, and being affordable. We have a checklist for all of our partners, and so all of these folks meet that criteria, and we value these relationships very much. I also want you to think about, we're going to talk about roles here. It's important to know who your provider is. Who here is going to Copenhagen or Stockholm? All right. So DIS actually has an office in Minnesota. So sometimes when you're waiting to find out more information, you can just pick up a phone and call DIS in Minnesota and really get things moving. All of you are in this room because you are on track to study abroad in summer and fall. So you are at a point now where you can be in direct communication with our host programs. CIEE is in Portland, Maine. Arcadia is in Pennsylvania. They're not even in a different time zone. You can call these folks. So if you're waiting for Bill Burris to write you back, or you're waiting for Shanna Van Beek to email you back, very often is the case is that you could actually be getting the answers you seek by communicating with our partner. So that's kind of the point of talking about roles, is that you know who to go to for what purpose, so that you're not spinning your wheels, kind of frustrated, waiting for information. All right? Okay. Okay. Okay, so there's really 4 players in this exciting relationship of going abroad, this endeavor that you're about to take part in. So it's not a love triangle, if you will, it's a love square, right? There's four sides. So who could help me name who's involved in this endeavor that you're about to embark on? Who's involved? Yeah, thank you. It's always the first one. Students. Right, number 1, students. That's you. Who else? Oh, yeah, nice. Parents, family. Family support, excellent. That's 2 out of 4. We got 2 more guys. Elon, yes. Elon, and 1 more. The host, okay, beautiful. So Robin was talking about jargon, how you can go abroad and you're taking units and subjects and modules. Nobody's calling anything a class. They're all using different language. This is even in the English-speaking world. You're going to find this a lot. We have jargon too. Affiliate and exchange partner is really just a partnership. It's who hosts you, who takes care of you, who gets you that important visa document you need before you leave. That's what that box represents. Elon, the GEC, your program advisor, and we'll delve into a little bit more when we get into health and safety about how Elon wants to support you while you're away. And then, of course, you know, whether this is your financial support system or purely your emotional support system, your family. And you're going to hear me say several times today to keep family involved in this. As you're getting information, make sure that your family is up to par, up to speed, dates, costs, excursions, classes, housing, meal plans. All of that stuff is of great interest to your family. So just make sure that you're sharing that information along the way. All right. Okay, and again, you have this PowerPoint in your MyElon Global account. So this is this is something at your disposal, whether it's now or this summer, as you're preparing to depart in the fall. So keep in mind that you can review this later as well. So I'm going to now we're turning away from academics and credit and grade policies, and we're pivoting now to safety. So what I'd love for y'all to do is take out your phone. We're going to use Kahoot today. We're back. So to be honest with you, Kahoot is sort of a funsy platform, but we're going to talk about a serious topic. So kind of bear with me. There's some cutesy music in here that it's probably going to overwhelm us on the speakers here momentarily. But basically, there's two questions. And I want to say this before I click start here, is that there's no right answer. I'm not going to call on you. I'm not going to record this. So you needn't worry that I'm searching for the right answer. I'm going to pick on any of you, okay? There's the music. Ooh. Wow, that was an excellent bass here in the media room. Okay. All right. Okay, so if you haven't done Kahoot before, you have to open a browser. And then it's really simple. You do need to create a username. Cutesy nicknames are okay. Let's keep it G-rated here, folks. We have 47 people already inside. Awesome. I expect about 80 people to be in our game here. So, President Lambert's here? What? He's incognito. I bet he is here. He's just that cool. All right. Okay, 67. We're almost there. Keep going. It's sometimes a little delayed. So keep plugging in there. 706-1350. Okay, are we getting it? We're about in there? All right. I don't want to leave anybody out. Okay. Right. Oh, that's a good one. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and click start. All right, Nick, you just barely made it in. Okay. Okay, you will need to see the bottom half of the screen to see the answers, so hopefully you can follow along. So when you think about health and safety wise, what concerns you most as you prepare for study abroad this summer or fall? So red triangle is terrorism. Circle on the bottom here is using poor judgment. Blue diamond is violent street crime. And then the green square is anti-American sentiment. Ooh, did everyone vote? Okay. You guys are fantastic. So I'm going to take a look. Every group is different, and you guys are different from the 3 previous sessions we've held. So this is interesting. So we'll take a moment here to analyze this, and then we'll go right into the second question. So it's a very even, this is interesting actually. This is the most even group among the first 3 categories. So I'm seeing less interest in anti-American sentiment. And I think if we think about what concerns us most, that might make sense that one of these other items comes first. But really, we've got a fairly close run here between terrorism-related attacks that might occur while you're abroad, using poor judgment, and violent crime, street crime. Okay, so interesting. Let's keep going. Let's see what the next question holds. What about mom and dad, your grandmother, your favorite aunt, your neighbors who love you? What are they worried about? That's an actual Elon student almost getting burnt. She's okay. Don't worry, she's fine. Interesting. Ha. Interesting. So this is more consistent with previous results. Interestingly, you tell me that what mom and dad are very concerned about is poor judgment. And to be honest with you, at this point, now that we're talking about health and safety, we're going to talk a lot about how to set yourself up to use the best possible judgment, to make the best possible decisions. It doesn't mean that we aren't exposing ourselves to risk when we study abroad. It is part of the equation. You are assuming risk. But what we want to do is mitigate risks. We want to engage in some rather simple practices that help protect us. And that's what we're going to talk about. And again, this is a pretty serious topic we're going to cover today. And I am going to show you about a 4.5-minute video that I think is a really good summary of this topic. Okay, I'm going to get back into my presentation. But what I want you thinking about are what are people like me, people who work in the Global Education Center, the people that are taking care of you in Spain, in Ireland, in the Czech Republic, what do you think concerns them the most? So we're going to kind of pivot to that topic. We have tools at our disposal. We have resources, and I'm actually excited to tell this group about a really new tool. Your friends who went abroad last fall didn't have this. We debuted this in January with our winter term travelers, and our students who are abroad this semester have all been invited to use Alert Traveler. So this is an app on your phone. And before you get out your phone and you go to the iTunes store, the Apple store, you can't download it just yet because we have to give you a special PIN. But this is coming to you soon. We'll be emailing you a special code so that you can put this app on your phone. It's not for your mom. you have only one device. Okay, so just to preempt that, the code is for you. What this app does, it allows Elon to communicate with you in the more dire circumstances where we want to check in and know that you're okay. So let's say something has happened in the city where you're studying abroad, and we just want to do kind of a head count, like kind of a check-in to see if you're okay. So as long as your phone is on, has battery life, and Wi-Fi of some extent, you will get a message from Elon. That message will say, "Are you okay?" And you have 3 possible replies. 1 is, "Yes, I'm okay." 2 is, "Yes, I'm okay, and I'm with my 4 Elon friends, Bobby and Susie and Mary and Joni, and we're all okay." So you can check in for others. And the last option, of course, is, "No, I'm not okay. Please send help. Please assist me." And so depending on what type of circumstance, it could be an earthquake, it could be flooding, depending on what the circumstances, the help will look different. But this is backed up by a huge security organization that is well-resourced to deploy resources to our students abroad. So this is a really fantastic turn of events. We're really excited to be able to give this to you for your semester. In fact, it actually will stay on your phone for a whole year. You'll have access to in-country resources. If the metro workers are on strike, you're going to get a notice on your phone so that I was going to go spend the weekend in Paris. But the metro workers are on strike. So maybe I need to change my plan. Maybe I need to alter what I'm doing based on this timely information that came to me on my phone. So we think this is a great resource. However, it does not entirely duplicate the STEP program, so we would love for you to do both. And this is something that mom and dad can do. They can be registered with STEP, kind of mirroring your movements abroad if you're telling them what you're doing in your free time and where you're going. They can also receive similar sorts of messages. This is organized by the U.S. State Department. Who here has already done a winter term study abroad? All right. So with that, the GEC put all your information in the STEP program for you. We did it for you. You guys are big and bad juniors, or almost about to be juniors. We are going to expect you to do this for yourself. And because we don't know what your independent travels and where they're going to take you. So, I'm going to the Prague next weekend. I'm going to Budapest in a month. You can put all of those details in and receive timely updates, timely information. So this is a couple of resources available to you. So one way to think about this is sort of a threat assessment. There's so many things that we do in our everyday life to mitigate risk. If I get in my car, I put on a seatbelt. When I get out of my car, I lock it. I don't even think about doing these things. They're second nature to me. So you're going to go into an environment where you don't know all the second nature stuff. You're going to learn it by observing what others are doing and by heeding the great advice of our partners. So there is no telling how many different ways you can help yourself by picking up those habits that the local people already do to take care of themselves, to keep track of their possessions and belongings. So I do want to show you a couple headlines, and these are very serious and sober situations that we have dealt with while abroad. So in both of these instances, these occurred while we had real live Elon students in country in these very locations. And you can imagine if your families, see these headlines, right? They're going to be very, very concerned. So I bring these up to kind of illustrate sort of 2 versions of threat assessment. The things we cannot control. I do not know where the next ISIS attack will occur. I wish I could foresee that and protect you all. I wish I could wrap you in bubble wrap. I really wish I could. but none of us will be able to tell when that next event occurs. And these incidents we're finding can occur anywhere. And there's really no safe place around the world where you might not confront this sort of situation. So what we can do is arm ourselves with those tools, make sure that our partner program advice, that we've paid close attention to their advice for us, okay? This is an instance where a student drowned, and it did relate to a student jumping in the water at night without any awareness of that situation. Is there a riptide? Is there a dangerous undercurrent? And there was alcohol also involved in that incident. So they're both tragic. They're both tragic. They're awful situations. However, there were some things on this side that could have been done to mitigate those risks. So this is the point where I'm going to bring up a short video. It's just less than 5 minutes, so I hope you will give it your full attention.
University study abroad programs always strive to create safe and enjoyable study abroad experiences. We are going to discuss a few simple steps that you can take to have a safe and healthy study abroad experience. This video focuses on 4 key areas: cultural differences, situational and locational awareness, the value of local knowledge, and the use of good judgment with alcohol. You will likely find many cultural differences in the country you're living in abroad. Whether you're someplace that appears familiar, such as England or Australia, or someplace more exotic, such as China or Guatemala. Part of any study abroad experience is learning to adapt to these new environments. Being aware of cultural differences helps to reduce risks that may be present in your new environment. Let's look at a few examples of how cultural awareness affects safety while abroad. In order to stay safe while abroad, it's important to pay attention to subtle cues in your environment, as there may not always be signs or disclaimers that you're used to in the United States. For example, if you arrive at a beach and see that no one is swimming in the water, it would be a good idea to ask a local before you jump into the waves. There could be a very good reason why no one is in the water, such as dangerous riptide or jellyfish. In many parts of the world, drivers, cyclists, and pedestrians interact in dramatically different ways than they do here in the United States. Simple acts such as crossing the street or hailing a cab can be more hazardous than what you're accustomed to here. Study abroad students often take for granted the safety precautions that are in place in their home country. It's important that students in foreign environments recognize they will need to take time to understand the new risks in their everyday activities. Paying attention to your surroundings is always good advice, but it's easy for students to lose sight of this conventional wisdom while they're studying abroad. Students riding around in public transportation or walking around in public places should always remain aware of their surroundings by using common sense practices. Tragic accidents and injuries can be avoided by minimizing simple distractions, such as cell phones or loud headphones. Pickpocketing can occur in many countries around the world, especially where students can be identified and targeted in crowded locations. Students studying abroad have a history of being victims of pickpocketing. Here are a few tips you can use to minimize your risks. 1. Limit the amount of cash and valuables you bring with you to public places. 2. Carry your backpack on the front of your body when in crowds. And 3. Always keep an eye on your personal belongings, even while you're at a restaurant or on public transportation. This also extends to being aware of your surroundings in crowds or at public gatherings. Large protests, civil demonstrations, and rallies may all seem like exciting environments in a foreign country. However, students should avoid these events as they can quickly become chaotic and hazardous. Terrible accidents, such as this nightclub fire in Brazil, can happen at any time to anyone. Being aware of your surroundings may be the difference between avoiding an accident or becoming a victim. Local knowledge and understanding the unique characteristics of your foreign community are keys to minimizing your risks while abroad. Your local study abroad contacts, as well as professors, host families, and friends, are great resources on site. Knowing cultural norms in your community, such as acceptable clothing, displays of public affection, and interaction with local law enforcement, can help you to avoid attracting unwanted attention. Local contacts can also help students understand which neighborhoods, streets, or modes of transport are safest after dark, which areas of town should be avoided, and how to carry money and valuables with you safely. Make use of their expertise and advice, and remember, in regards to your safety and health, there are no stupid questions. Limiting alcohol consumption will also help you to remain aware of your surroundings, use good common sense, and make decisions that will keep you safe. Students should know that a majority of study abroad incidents also involve alcohol. We call this effect alcohol plus. Alcohol plus, being out alone at night. Alcohol plus, vehicles in high traffic areas. Alcohol plus, being in an unfamiliar part of town. Alcohol plus, a rowdy street festival. When negotiating the new situations that come with the study abroad experience, students can reduce the chance of a safety incident by subtracting alcohol from the equation. Different countries and regions have different standards regarding alcohol consumption, so look to locals for guidance and follow your best judgment, not your impaired judgment. While study abroad will always be about new and exciting experiences in foreign countries and cultures, you should always think about your safety. Accidents can happen to you. By understanding the culture of safety in your host country, you can make the most of your time abroad in a safe and healthy way. We encourage students to minimize their risks abroad by paying attention to cultural differences, remaining aware of foreign surroundings, asking locals for advice, and using good judgment with alcohol. Have fun and be safe.
So I have just 2 notes on that video. I'm not going to repeat it. One is that you are sitting right now in an orientation, and in a week or so you're going to go to a site-specific orientation, and many of you have yet another logistics or visa related meeting, and you're going to land abroad and throw down your suitcase, and guess what you're going to have to do? Go to another orientation. And it is arguably the most important orientation of all the orientations, because that's where the local knowledge comes into play. Those are the folks that live abroad in these locations year-round, and they assist our students year-round. They know what's happening. They know which beach to avoid because of people being held up at knife point. And they know which club is not a good place to go to at night because of the element that it attracts. They know which cab companies are going to rip you off because they're not reputable, which ones you should avoid. So I know you're going to be jet lagged, and you're going to say to yourself, I've gone to so many orientations. Are you serious? Yes. If you really need to be plugged in, those are the folks that really know how to look after you and to prepare you for what you really need every day walking around on the streets. Study is a component of this, but you're going to live abroad. You're going to have a life abroad. And we want you out there with all of the best information possible. The second thing I'll say, not to harp on the alcohol component, but it is true what the video says, the most incidents, and I've seen some tragic ones. I've seen some very sad incidents in my 17-year career in study abroad. They all have involved alcohol, every single one of them. Am I telling you not to have a drop of liquor to drink and to not go to the UK and not enter a pub and have a pint? That's not what I'm saying. Absolutely, you should go into a pub. That's part of British life and culture. It's part of Irish life and culture. I'm using one example here, but we want you to be smart. This is not the time to push your limits with alcohol. You're going to set yourself up to be in a really vulnerable situation. And last, I just want to say that when you go abroad, you're going to meet the best friend that you don't have yet. It's a person you don't know right now that is in your future that is going to be your best friend. You're going to go to their wedding. They're going to come to your wedding, and so on and so forth. Look out for each other. Take care of each other. Whether you're going with a group of Elon students or you're going out there alone and you're going to meet new people, when you go out as a group at night, come back as a group. Take a pledge, look each other in the eye and say, I'm not going to leave you behind. I don't care how tired I am, even if it looks like you're having fun, we're going to go home together because you just don't want to be in a situation, the regret and the guilt and the pain of knowing that one of your friends came to some harm because you just didn't have the patience to make sure you got home safely. If you honestly just focused on that, we can really eliminate some of the worst possible situations that I've been aware of in study abroad. Okay, we are going to change topics to health, and we're really going to start cruising fast through this presentation. And I do hope to end with one last Kahoot, and we'll process a little bit after that Kahoot. So I just want to let you know we're going to pick up the pace here and go fast, and we're going to end on time. Okay, health. Here's a short list of tips that we find are really great tips. Some of this was contributed to us by the wonderful Dr. Jeanette Archinall over in Student Health Services. We shared this list with our winter term students, and we're sharing it with you now. I'm not going to read it to you. I think it's all pretty sensible. CDC stands for Center for Disease Control. So if mom is saying, hey, do you need any shots? Do you need shots before you go abroad? If your mom calls me, I'm going to send her to the CDC. That is an excellent resource. You go to the Traveler's Destination tab, load in where you're going to be visiting, and there's even a box you can check for study abroad student. So the advice from CDC is completely customized to exactly what you guys are about to do. Go check that out. Review that information with your physician. If you're going home for spring break, great time to check in with your doctor about your plans for study abroad, whether it's summer or fall. This is a brand new resource from goabroad.com. It's completely written by students, just like you. So it's student-to-student advice, tips and tales for mental health and self-care. So that's clickable. So when you get back into the presentation, please check that out. It's a really fantastic resource. Right. Okay. So I alluded to this earlier. Elon wants you to know that even though you're far away, you're thousands of miles from our campus, we still care about you and we want to provide resources to you. So these resources do not shut off because you're not here. They remain on. So what I'm going to do is show you a slide that I actually hope that you will screenshot or take a photo of once you're back at your computer, and have that on your phone and just keep these resources with you. You don't know what types of resources you might need. I hate to say this, but events that can happen in the United States on an American college campus can happen abroad. And whether these events happen to you or to a friend, you really want to be that great friend that helps a student through a crisis situation. I really want to emphasize SafeLine. SafeLine can take a call from China. SafeLine can take a call from Italy. SafeLine can take a call from anywhere. You don't even have to give your name. They're not even going to ask you your name. It's completely confidential. So again, be that great friend. Have this information ready at the disposal if you should need it. So I'll leave it there, but again, just want to emphasize, Elon wants to support you while abroad. Okay, insurance. It's a boring topic. Nobody cares about insurance until they need insurance. So I want to leave you with one concept. You're covered. You have coverage. You don't have to lift a finger. Elon is going to secure that coverage for you. Now, I want you to know the name of the provider. It's iNext, little I, big N, EXT. They're going to email you. That's not spam. That's not junk mail. Open up emails from iNext. If your mom wants you to carry a card, you just need to reply to that email. You can get yourself an insurance card to carry in your wallet. If you lose that card, you're still covered. You're covered, okay? The way health insurance works abroad is really different. We're used to using our Blue Cross Blue Shield or United Healthcare card and paying copays and then walking out the door with our prescriptions and everything we need. Abroad, you're going to pay at the point of service, you're going to save receipts, save documents, and then you're going to file a claim and be reimbursed up to the coverage amounts. We have really great policy, and we want to help you get reimbursed, but you have to follow that process and procedure. So that's really all I'll say right now. You are more than welcome to ask me more questions about insurance afterwards or during your site-specific orientation. Okay, so here is a little section on money. And a student might say to me, what? We're talking about health. Why are we talking about money? Well, if you don't have enough money to eat, guess what? That's a health issue, right? In order to be the best students we can be, we need a good diet, we need to be healthy. So you do need to understand program costs. So what I'm showing you here is an example, Copenhagen, in our DIS program. So every person here has a page like this that they can refer to. And if you haven't looked at your budget yet, I strongly suggest you do that. And further, I beseech you, I beg you to please share this information with your families. If your family has not seen this yet, they need to see it now. If it says fall 17, don't worry about that. Show it to your family now. The main piece of information that we're missing is tuition, because Elon hasn't set tuition yet and has not formally announced fall 18 tuition. Otherwise, this is a great, almost perfect predictor of what your budget will be in fall 18. There's somebody in this room, their mom is going to call me in September, and they're going to say, my son doesn't have a meal plan in Barcelona. How on earth could Elon do that to my son? Send him abroad with no meal plan. And I will gently and politely explain to your mom that meal plans are just not a thing around the world. It's pretty American to have a meal plan, even Australia. If you say meal plan, people are going to look at you like, what? What's that? College students around the world cook for themselves. Imagine, okay? They go to grocery stores, they buy food, and they prepare the food. This is actually a great opportunity for community building with the people you live with abroad. So that's the plus. That's putting a silver lining on that. But please, please, please share this information with your families. It's really critical that they know what we think is going to be spending money. Guess what? Exchange rates, they fluctuate, they change. So that's why the word estimated appears there. Because whatever the dollar is buying now for the euro may be really different when you get on an airplane. So I highly recommend that you start monitoring exchange rates, because you want to get abroad and you're going to want to seem sophisticated and savvy and know how you're spending money, right? That's a really good move. All right? Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's a great question. So how do you find this? Remember when you clicked apply now? Everybody here clicked apply now. You wouldn't be here. That page has another button that says budget, and it'll either say summer, fall, or spring. So you click on the semester that you're going to be away, and you will pull this right up. If you see your budget and it doesn't look right to you, ask. You can ask me. Everyone in this room can ask me or a program manager about their budget. Happy to help you with that. Okay, we're actually to the last bit of orientation, believe it or not, right? It's gone by pretty fast, I hope. So the last item we're going to talk about is adversity. Okay, and I want to be straight with you. There's a lot of hype around study abroad on this campus and at the 4 campuses I've worked at. People talk about study abroad like, oh, it's so amazing. I walked on water, and then, and then all these wonderful things happened to me. Nobody talks about the rough parts of study abroad. Nobody does it. I want to reveal to you that you're going to have amazing days abroad, and then you're going to have days that are just the pits. You're going to have days where you're going to go, God, I wish I was back at Elon. I wish I was at home with my mom. You're going to have those days. And so let's be open about it. I'm going to invite you to think about that a little bit here at the end of our presentation, and then take these thoughts with you as you carry over into your next orientation meetings. I have a little quote here from a past Elon student. I really love it. It says all those glowing things. And then she says, some of it was great and other times it was just awful. But in the end, very rewarding. So sometimes we gloss over the hard parts when we talk about study abroad, but you guys are getting ready to have this experience, and we need to have open dialogue about what types of things can go wrong. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Kahoot again, and we're going to do 4 quick scenarios. We're going to move really fast, where I'm going to ask you to look at the scenario and think about your resources. Who will you start with? What's your first move? This scenario is happening to me. What do I do first? So we're going to go ahead and we'll get Kahoot. Oh yeah, I may need help duplicating. You're so kind to help me. This will be the last time. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, off we go. I think if you were just in, you don't have to choose a name. It'll just put you back in. All right, I think there's maybe 10 more people out there to join. I haven't seen Buns yet. I'm looking for Buns. It's just a joke. I love it. Shopping cart. I don't know what any of these things really mean. It's okay. I don't need to know. Oh, Mr. Buns. Thank you. Whoever you are. I appreciate you very much. Yes. Awesome. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, someone left. Oh, that always makes me sad when the number goes down. Come back. Okay. I'm about to hit start. Please get in the mix. There's no, again, I'm not grading you. There's no grade here. No stress. All right, are we all in? All right. We got a theme. Okay. 4 questions, and I will read the answers because they might be hard for everyone to see. Here's the scenario. My apartment was robbed while my roommates and I were gone. I'm missing my passport and my grandmother's heirloom ring. So, what's your first move? Elon, call mom, text mom. I can handle this. I got this. I'll do a local resource, host program, or a combination. I don't know, combination answer. I don't know is sometimes a reasonable answer. Okay, I think we're close to being in. Bong. Okay, let's debrief. The debriefing is really where the value is here. There's sort of 0 points on the line. So for you, my ultra competitive people, sorry, 0 point. You're competing for 0 points. So the most people said, I'm going to start local. I can handle this. Anyone here want to kind of defend that? Like tell us why that made sense to you? Again, I'm not necessarily pointing towards one right answer, so just share, please share what you were thinking. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's actually a very astute observation. If you want to make an insurance claim, you need a police report. And I was just talking about insurance. And your family may have homeowners insurance that covers this type of scenario. So call the police. Are you going to call the Elon police? No. You could, but that's not gonna go well. Okay, you're gonna start with local resources. So I think that's actually a great answer. You might be in a residence hall. You're starting with that RA type person, perhaps. Starting local is not necessarily the wrong answer at all. Anybody else want to mention what their rationale for a different answer? I have one for this one. So for you 10 people, anybody want to share? We'll be here longer if no one participates right now. So speak up. Sorry? All right. Yes. Yeah. Thank you for thank you for that endorsement. Hey, you're going to upload your passport to the MyElan Global system. There's a good chance that I can fax that, or believe it or not, embassies use fax machines still. I can get that to a consulate or embassy and really boost that passport replacement process for you. And instead of that taking 5 days, maybe that will take 2 days if you get Elon involved. Now, there's a good chance that Arcadia and CIE and all those folks also have your passport. So there's a good chance they could serve in that role too. Okay. All right. Good job, guys. I would say that sometimes calling mom is appropriate because mom knows about your ring and she knows about your homeowner's insurance and she knows about your stuff. So that's not necessarily a bad answer. I would actually suggest that the combination answer is not a bad approach. So let's keep going. All right. Excellent. Okay. Uh-oh. What the heck? Your professor is acting inappropriately in class or perhaps in a private meeting with you. The kangaroo has nothing to do with this, by the way, just incidental. Incidental kangaroo placement. Wow. Music is picking up here. A few more answers. So the answers are always the same. All 4 questions, answers are the same. So Elon, mom, local, or combo. Right? Okay. Okay. So let's break this down. When I devised this concept, I asked the staff to throw out real scenarios that have happened to real students. So some of these are more lighthearted and some of them are serious, and this is a rather serious situation. So let's break it down a little bit. So a lot of you selected that I don't know, that combination response. Who can just kind of talk me through your thinking process with that answer? There were 26 of you contributed that answer. Who would quickly share what they were thinking? Yeah.
All of them are important because there's things that Elon can do, and there's things that, I don't know, like the school or the host program that your app can do, and then,
Yep.
I don't know, it's good to keep parents informed.
Okay, so I'll summarize that, which is there's a lot Elon can do, potentially. There's a lot the host program, the host university can do. And keeping family involved is good for emotional support, and maybe there's something they can help you with. And I agree with that answer. If that's happening to you abroad, I would like to know, because no student should have to endure inappropriate behavior without a voice, without an opportunity to share that. And I'm a person that's not going to influence your grade. Telling me is not going to change your grade or pose any risk to you academically. What I can do is go behind the scenes and talk to our partners on the ground and say, look, I've got a student facing something they really shouldn't have to be facing. And sometimes we can be very discreet and we can find out what's really happening. I'll tell you that some of these cases are sometimes just a misunderstanding around language. You can go to Australia and they're speaking English and they'll use a phrase to you that just sounds outrageous. It sounds insensitive. It's to your ears, it's very inappropriate. And then when we pick that apart a little bit, I'm not saying all of a sudden that language is perfect, but as we pick it apart, we interrogate that a little bit, we find out what the cultural nuances of that phrase, that expression that was used in class may be. And that just adds context. It doesn't mean that this situation goes away, but it does help you understand. And that faculty person who maybe doesn't have a lot of Americans in their classroom, typically it's a learning opportunity for them as well. So I would say I would love for you to involve Elon in this case. If you sent this to me, I'm not going to say, hey, why are you wasting my time? Handle that on your own. That's not what I'm going to say. So please think of Elon as a resource in this case. All right, let's keep going. All right, same leaderboard. Can everybody see that? A required course excursion is in conflict with when my folks are visiting me. Keyword required course for a grade. Key phrase. Grab a pen. This happens. So think about this. This could happen to you. Where do you go? What do you turn? Okay, so we are about 20 minutes from the close of the session. So I'm going to start circulating the sign-out sheet. So this lucky person right here gets to start. Keep this moving. For your classmates' sake, keep this moving. Everybody needs to sign out to get credit for being here today, so don't forget to sign out. Okay, so let's take a look. Local resources, I can handle this. So again, I need somebody to speak up, engage with me here a little bit. Why that answer? Talk me through your thinking process. Yes. Elon, or your mom has nothing to do with your course. Okay, that's one perspective. Anybody else have anything to add? Different perspectives are welcome here. Anybody? Yes. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's a really good point. If this is mom's trip and she's paying for it and organizing it, you might have to say, gosh, mom, can we rebook this? Can you move it back or push it up? I have to say, so ideally when you get in country, you're going to get a syllabus that tells you these things in advance. I'd like to tell you that everyone will know that before they arrive in country, but it's just simply not the case everywhere around the world. So at the start of the semester, if you see this collision about to happen, this conflict, I don't mind if you reach out to us. We don't mind hearing from you, but there is a really good chance that we're going to say, man, I'm sorry. The course is the course, and I don't have any power over professors in other countries. I don't tell them how to do their job. I don't tell them to change their syllabi. Maybe there's a grade deduction and you are okay with it kind of absorbing that grade reduction because you plan to, just be killer on all your other assignments and a little bit of a grade reduction doesn't scare you. That's something you may want to talk about with the local support. Like how have students in the past handled this? Sometimes a professor, if you walk up to them on the first day of class and say, hi, I'm an American and I'm in your class and I'm so excited. If you do that on the first day of class, on the 5th day of class or 6th day of class, they're going to remember that you're like this nice person that talked to them. And you could present this problem to them and maybe they'd be nice enough to do an alternative thing with you. I don't know. But that's only going to happen if you establish that relationship and take that time to do that before there's a problem, before there's an issue with faculty. I really don't recommend email to attack that issue. In person, whatever it takes, go find that professor in person because it's really hard to say no to a live person in front of you, right? Easier to say no by email, right? So that would be my suggestion. All right, okay, let's do the last one. Okay, so this is probably an opportunity for me to say something I've said before, which is that the types of things that we encounter right now in our lives on Elon's campus are things that we can encounter while we're abroad. Abroad is not a magical place where nothing ever goes wrong and we don't meet annoying people and we have personality conflicts. So the difference perhaps is that you're not in your usual situation where you know where to turn to with all your usual resources right there. That's probably the big difference here. So I have a lot of, I can handle this, interesting. I've gotten different responses on this question across sessions, interesting. Who would care to share their thought process on that? I can handle this. I got this with local resources. Yeah.
I figured I could talk to whoever's in charge of the area or maybe an RA on site or in the class.
Yeah, so I'll repeat that just so you can hear. I figure that I can start with, if it's a housing related issue, I can start with that housing advisor, that resident advisor, someone local, someone who knows where we both live, both you and this other party. I think I encapsulated your answer. Okay. I completely agree. So that person locally has the opportunity, and I would say the wherewithal to moderate that situation for you. Because what I'd hate for you to think is that you have to do that by yourself. Like confront this person, explain to them that this is not a workable, livable situation for you, because that's risky for you. You're not sure how that person's going to take that information. We just don't want you feeling alone in this type of scenario. And it's a real drag to have this happen while you're abroad and you want to be having fun and doing all these wonderful things, and this is sort of sucking your energy from you. So I would actually, this is kind of a cop-out, but I think I'd also kind of say it's a combination of things, because maybe there is someone at Elon that you use for support now that is just your go-to person. And they're going to talk you through this, and they're going to help you, because really at the end of the day, this is an interpersonal thing. Perhaps it may have nothing to do with cultural components. It may simply be a personality issue beyond being obviously a major misunderstanding. Okay, so great job. So I have one more slide. Where is the sign out sheet? Is it moving? Okay, keep it moving. All right. Okay, we are still on time. So you've gotten a lot of information today. Hopefully, I know we have some seasoned travelers here, so maybe just some refreshers and reminders. What's next? Everybody in this room has another application to do after the Elon application. This is actually true even for centers. So if you're going to Sunshine Coast, you got to do the University of Sunshine Coast app. If you're going to DIS, they call it registration, but that's another step in the process. Semester at sea, you're working with Colorado State, and so on and so forth. So who here is already in the process of doing a secondary application? Florida State, if you're doing Theatre Academy London, Arcadia, if you're going to New Zealand. Okay, great. If this is news to you, I would get into My Elon Global. My Elon Global is designed to take you through all these steps, and there's a very good chance that there's a box that you bring up, and it gives you a link on how to get going on that secondary application. Visa. So I'm going to keep this real short because all of you are going to different places. Some of you don't need a visa, and you're going to get off easy and lucky. Who's going to Spain? I think I've asked already. Thank you. Who's going to the Czech Republic? I'm sorry to tell you guys, on the scale of easy to hard, you're on the hard side on the visa process. It's intensive, it's detail-oriented, and you have to just do everything perfectly. It's nitpicky. And it's not when you want to do the process. It's not like, oh, I'm free today, I'm going to get my Spanish visa. All right. It's based on a process, and the government of Spain is involved, your host is involved, and you just have to slog through the process. If you don't get a visa, you don't go. It's that simple. I don't care who you know. Leo Lambert can't get you that visa. I can't get you that visa. You have to do the process. So who here in this room has plans to travel internationally over summer, like a cruise or a trip or backpacking? Okay, think about where your passport is. And if your passport needs to be in New York to get a UK visa, your passport cannot be with you on the cruise with your family this summer. So if you have those plans, what I recommend is communicating that to your program manager. They understand the visa timing. They're not going to make it easier for you. They're just going to let you know what is the maneuver. How can you possibly get this visa in time for your program? I don't know if I have any summer camp counselors in the room, but when you go off to camp to be a camp counselor and you have no internet for a month, that might be problematic if you need to be working on a visa this summer. So think now about your circumstances pre-departure. Where am I? Where's my passport? Yeah, so who is my program advisor? Who's my program manager? If you go back to that Apply Now page, everybody here clicked an Apply Now button. There is a box that says Program Advisor, Program Manager. So Shanna Van Beek, Catherine Hinken, Bill Burris. It could be me, it could be Allegra Lang. Lots of wonderful people that work on the 3rd floor of this building. All right. Course registration, I think we've covered that really capably. Doing a course review form is not registering for anything abroad. That piece of paper doesn't go anywhere outside the zip code. You're going to register through your host program, our partner. So just bear that in mind. And then housing, I am just talking about on-campus housing, and inside the PowerPoint, I have some tips and advice for managing that housing conundrum. You're going to be away, you need to come back. How do you maneuver? How do you make that work? Okay, where's the sign-out sheet? Okay, who needs the sign-out sheet? The last 3 rows. Okay, all right. We're going to move as fast as humanly possible. If your last name starts with A, you don't need to hang on all 4 sheets of paper. Just keep those pieces of paper moving. Okay, thank you. Okay, are there any questions? Credit, health, safety, academic policies. Okay, so hang out to sign out. I know it's tempting to leave, but I need you to sign out.